Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock on a Thursday, which means it's time for a magic stuff. Now today, I'm going to be doing another one of the 3 best tricks series, and this is the third one I've done on the Memorised deck. I am getting tons of feedback from people saying, I love routines with memorised decks. This is making me want to learn a memorised deck. I didn't realise there were so many routines that you can do with a memorised deck. I got to tell you guys, I love Mem Deck magic. I really do. I worked it out the other day. I probably do about 30 or 40 routines with a Mem Deck, and I could literally go to a gig, just take a Mem Deck with me and be good to go. And, you know, once you start using a Mem Deck, you'll wonder why you haven't been using it for years. The effects that you can do are so solid, they really are. Anyway, on this the third edition of the 3 best tricks with Mem Decks that you've never seen before, I'm going to talk about some more Mem Deck magic that you might not have learned and you might not be performing. My goal is to showcase tricks to people who use a Mem Deck, to hopefully make them kind of think outside the box, because a lot of people that use Mem Decks, they just use it really as a stacked deck. Pick a card, I'll look at the bottom card and that tells me what your card is. But there's so much more that you can do with a Mem Deck. The other thing I hope to achieve with these videos is by taking people that don't do Mem Deck magic and encouraging them to start doing tricks with a Mem Deck. So there's a lot that I'm hoping to achieve with these, but I want you guys to let me know at the end of the video. Put in the comments, do you like these videos? Would you like me to move away from Mem Deck magic for a minute and do some of the 3 best trick series on something else? Because I'm more than happy to do that as well. The ball, of course, is in your court. Anyway, with that all being said, and without any further ado, let's have a look at one of my favourite routines with a Mem Deck. It's called Casablanca. It was published in the Buena Vista Shuffle Club, and it's by the legend himself, Matt Baker. Okay, so the first trick we're going to be looking at is Casablanca by Matt Baker. Now, Casablanca, like I said, was published in the Buena Vista Shuffle Club. Now, if you haven't actually read that book, it's an incredible book. I mean, 80% of it, probably 70 or 80% of it is on Mem Deck magic. There is a lot of other magic that he presents as well, including his wonderful 3-coin Monty. But a lot of the stuff that he does in that book is with Mem Decks, and he thinks outside the box. He really does. Some of the stuff that Matt does with Mem Decks is just simply genius. It takes the concept and moves it in a completely different direction. I have actually interviewed Matt Baker on Magic TV, on a Talk Magic episode. You can check that out on the podcast on Spotify and also in the YouTube playlist. Just go to the Talk Magic playlist and have a look along there, and he's there, or you can search Matt Baker Talk Magic interview. Either one is fine. Now, what we have here in Casablanca is I like to think of this trick as the 2-person act. That's what I actually refer to it when I'm speaking to other magicians about it, and when I'm speaking to Ryland about it, because that's the presentation. I love the presentational hook. And Ryland does this, and I do this. In fact, there's a video of him doing it on his YouTube channel. And but it's not called 2-person act, it's called Casablanca. I had to look it up in the book in order to remind myself what it's called. And the hook and the concept of this trick is telling the spectator that you're going to get them to form a 2-person act with you. They're going to predict the future, and you're going to read minds. And then you proceed to actually do that. You proceed to make it look like the spectator is predicting the future and reading minds. It's very, very cool. Now, I'm going to do a performance of it first of all, so you can see a frame of reference of exactly what it looks like. And then once I've done that, we'll talk about why it's so good. I'm here with Luke. Now, Luke, you've been working here for many years, and as far as I'm aware, you don't know how to do one single trick.
Not a single one.
So I've decided to change that, and we're going to try a new project. You and I are going to form a 2-person act.
I'll get in.
You are going to, you're going to predict the future.
Yeah.
And I am going to read minds.
Okay.
And we're going to be like the world famous mind reading, predictive futuring people. That's what we're going to do.
Cool.
Okay.
Now,
you've never predicted the future before, so we're going to use the deck of cards to help us with this. And before I do anything at all, what I would like you to do, Luke, when I snap my fingers, is I would like you to name a card.
6 of hearts.
You sure?
Yeah.
You're happy with that?
Yeah.
Great. So here we go. We'll get back to that in a minute.
Okay.
Now, in a second, what you're going to do is I'm going to spread through the cards, and you're going to take any card. But it's important that you're happy with it. So I'm going to spread through the cards. You're going to look at a card. Now, if you're happy with that card, brilliant. If you're not happy with it, we're going to put it back, and we're going to look at another card. You're going to look at another card, and you're going to keep going until you've got a card that you're happy with.
Okay.
When you're happy with that card, You're going to tuck it away in your pocket, out the way.
Right.
Have you got pockets? You could sit on it if you want to.
I've got jean pockets. I can sit on it. I'll sit on it because
That's fine.
I don't want to bend these beautiful cards.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I will kill you if you ruin my Providence deck. So that's what we're going to do. So you're going to have a free choice of any card, right?
Okay.
So just any one. Now, have a look at it. Don't show me, don't show the camera. But if you're happy with it, great. If not, you can put it back and go for a different one.
I want to go for a different one.
Okay, put it back. You want to go, try again? That one? Are you happy with it, or do you want to go for a different one?
No, I like this one.
Okay, so sit on it or whatever. Now, there's one more thing. I need you to take a card that's going to go in my pocket.
Okay.
Okay. So again, which one would you like? We're not going to look at this one. We're going to put it sight unseen.
Okay.
Are you sure you want that one?
Yeah.
It's going to go into my pocket. Okay.
Okay.
Without looking. Here we go. Done. So we've got one card in my pocket, one card in your pocket. You made all the choices. Now, you know what that card is in your pocket. Nobody knows what this card is, but you know what that card is. My job is to read minds.
Okay.
So I'm going to try and read your mind. Concentrate. Your card is a red card, isn't it? It's a heart.
Yeah.
It's quite a low card. You could have picked any card.
Could have done.
You got the three of hearts.
Yeah.
Did you get the three of hearts? Show them.
Yeah.
Show them. But you also picked a card that put in my pocket. Nobody's looked at that.
Yeah.
Do you remember? It's been here the whole time. You're not going to believe this. At the very, very beginning, you named a card, and I said you had to predict the future.
Yeah.
You didn't realise that, but naming that card was you predicting the future. Yeah. Because the goal was for you to name the card that you would ultimately put in my pocket. And the incredible thing is, you nailed it.
Wow.
I tell you what, we're going to be in Vegas in
Yeah,
a few
we're
years
good.
with that act. I mean, man,
wait.
look at that.
Boom.
Craig and Luke.
There you go.
So there you go, that's Casablanca. Now, I love this for so many reasons. First of all, it keeps the Mem Deck in stack. So at the end of the routine, the deck is fully stacked and you're ready to go again, which is important when you're doing Magic with a Mem Deck. There are some wonderful tricks that destroy the stack, and they are really wonderful, but unless you're doing a series of Mem Deck tricks and you're finishing and then ending the night doing that, that's not for me. Purely because I want to be able to do this on the next table and the next table and the next table, and I'm not going to be able to do that if I'm destroying the stack. And yes, there are ways of reinvigorating the stack and stacking the deck in front of an audience, but I'd rather just keep the deck in stack if I can. And this routine keeps the deck in stack all the way through, which is great. Second thing I like about this is the hook line, because the hook is really strong. Saying that you're going to form this two-person act is really cool. Thirdly, I love the method behind it. You are so far ahead of the audience, it's ridiculous. I mean, you are so far ahead of the rest of the audience. By the time they get to the revelation, you're almost done. Like, it's devious. It really is. The way that you're just in the action of explaining what you want them to do, you're almost at the end of the trick already, like seriously. And the other thing I like about it is you're using lots of different applications of the Mem Deck. So you are using it as like an open index type thing that you can get to a particular card very, very easily. But you're also using it so that you know what the next card in the deck is by looking at the bottom card. There's lots of different aspects of the Memorised deck that you're actually using here. I also like how the routine builds. I like the fact that, you know, you tell them that you're going to read their mind. They put any card in their pocket and they don't even look at it, and you immediately tell them what their card is. But then you've got that extra added kicker of, you know, you named a card at the beginning, you put a card in my pocket, boom. I mean, it doesn't get much stronger than that. It really does not get much stronger than that. It's also very easy to do. There's not really any sleights really to speak of beyond actually memorizing the deck in the first place. But once you've memorized the deck, then it's not actually that difficult to do either. You don't need a table. There's no table required. There is a moment where you put the deck down on the table, but you can engineer that to give the deck to somebody to hold on to for you. With a very, very, very small amount of thinking and a little bit of audience management, you can do this walk around very, very easily. Yeah, I mean, what's not to love about this routine? What's not to love? It's also quick and it's snappy. Sometimes some Mem Deck tricks take a very long time to execute. There's some routines that can take 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, and it's very procedural. This is not that case. You set the premise, you explain what you want them to do, You do it, trick over. And it fits really well into a series of Mem Deck tricks. So, I mean, it does make a really nice opener. It would make a really good closer, or it'll fit really well in a series of tricks as well. It's just phenomenal. It really is. It's one of my favorite tricks with the Mem Deck. You can learn it from the Buena Vista Shuffle Club, which you can get directly from all good magic dealers. I believe that Vanishing Ink had a part to play with publishing it. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they might have. But you can get it directly from Matt Baker as well, I think. And if you wanted to find out more about Matt Baker, go check out the Talk Magic interview. It's great. Right, let's move on with the next one. So the second person who's created a trick that's in this list is the one and only Tom Crosby. That's right, the performing nerd himself. Tom is an incredible performer, an incredible magician, and an incredible creator of magic, and these days spends more time kind of doing his show than he does creating magic. But even then, even still, you know, some of the stuff that he's done over the years is brilliant. And his shadow stack is one of the best stacks, Mem Deck stacks for a Mem Deck user that you'll ever see. I mean, his shadow stack is designed for magicians. When he bought his DVD out, Recall, all those years ago, it's what originally got me interested in Mem Deck magic, because I was sitting there watching Tom doing these things and I was absolutely blown away. True story, once I, excuse me, once I saw Tom doing all of the stuff with the shadow stack, I learned the shadow stack, and then I made the mistake of not using it for a period of time, promptly forgot the shadow stack, had to relearn it, couldn't find the shadow stack, and ended up learning mnemonica. And that's why I actually use mnemonica, because I couldn't find Recall, or I couldn't find any reference to the shadow stack. If I could snap my fingers, extract mnemonica from my brain and put the shadow stack in, I would, because it is an incredible stack and there's a lot you can actually do with it, including a story deck that's built into it. Now, when Recall came out, there were a whole stack of routines, and I was lucky enough to sit down with Tom and be a part of that project in terms of hosting it, nothing to do with creating the magic. There's lots of tricks on that project that I really like. There's lots of routines and ideas and concepts. The idea of edge marking the deck is genius. There's a lot of stuff in there that Tom should be really proud of. And there's one routine in there that kind of falls under everyone's radar. A lot of people forget about it. And I got the impression from working on that project with Tom that it wasn't particularly his favorite trick on the project either. But man, it kills. As an opening routine, if you're going to go into Mem Deck magic, this is a great opener. And it's Tom's version of the Chicago opener, or Red Hot Mama. Now, Red Hot Mama, the Chicago opener, whatever you want to call it, it has been the quintessential opening routine for magicians for years, for the simple reason that it always gets a great reaction. With very little work, you've got a routine where you've got a really nice card revelation, and then you've got a really nice surprise kicker ending. There's a lot you can actually do with this, right? Well, Tom took the concept of Chicago opener and put it into a Mem Deck. I'm going to perform it for you so you can see what I mean, because a lot of people are going, hang on a minute, wow, how would that work? So let me perform that for you first of all, and then I'll talk about why it's so good.
Hello.
Look, I've got these cards, the beautiful playing cards. They're called Providence cards.
Oh, nice.
And they're developed by a company called the 1914, which I know that you've heard of. We're going to try and do something here. Now, there's, do you know how many cards there are in a deck of cards?
52.
52 cards. Now, I could have you pick a card. I'm not going to do that, though, because I want to be fairer than that. So instead, I'm going to get you to name a card. When I snap my fingers, I'd like you to name any card that you want to. Do that right now.
Jack of Hearts.
Do you want to change your mind?
No.
Because you can go for a different one if you want to. You could go for a... The Six of Spades is a good card. I can recommend the Six of Spades, or maybe the Five of Spades, or maybe the... No, you don't want any of those.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
you want the Jack of Hearts. And that was a free choice, right?
Yeah.
I want you to watch. I'm going to try and make your card stand out in the deck.
Okay.
You could have named any card. I'm going to make it so it stands out. Look, all I have to do is channel my inner Michael Amar and cast a shadow. That's all I have to do. And when I do that, if I spread through the deck, you'll see that one card and one card only stands out. Look at that. There's one card with a red back. This can't be. I mean, that would be...
Wouldn't make any sense.
Wouldn't make any sense at all, would it? Let's have a look. It was the Jack of Hearts. That's the card.
Yeah, of course.
Pretty impressive, right? Now, there's a rule in magic, and the rule is never repeat a trick. You see, the first time it's entertainment, the second time it's educational.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it again.
Okay.
Okay? This time, just touch a card. I'll let you touch a card this time. But instead of naming one, you can touch one. This one here, are you happy?
Yeah.
Can you look at that card?
Yeah.
I'll even let the camera see it. Okay?
Yep.
Watch. I'm going to make one card stand out. All I have to do is this, and when I do, hang on a minute, I'm going to make one card stand out. All I have to do, I'm going to make one card stand out. All I have to do, what was the card?
9 of diamonds.
Well, technically, one card is standing out, but that's the Jack of, unless I cast a shadow again. And that would be the 9 of diamonds. There you go. Look at that.
So that routine is great. It makes a fantastic opener. Let me tell you why it's so good. First of all, obviously you need a bit of prep to the deck, and you need to have an odd backed card in there. But let's be honest, this entire deck is stacked. So if you're using a stacked deck, that's not really too much of an issue, to be perfectly honest. It does mean that the routine either has to be used as an opener, or you cop the odd back card in during the course of the routine. In all honesty, I think I prefer this as an opening routine. I think it makes a really good opener because unlike a lot of Mem Deck magic, it's really visual. Because you've got that moment where the card changes colour in the deck. Then you've got the moment where the card changes again, just like the original Chicago opener. So it's really visual, grabs the audience's attention. Chicago opener, like I said, has been a great opening routine for years, and this is no different. What makes this so special, though, is the fact that you're using a Mem Deck. So rather than having somebody pick a card, instead, you're having somebody name a card. And unless you've worked with a Mem Deck, you'll not know how strong that is. It's so much stronger to say to somebody, look, just name any card you want to. It's totally up to you. Which card would you like to name? Your choice. Now suddenly they can't think that you're controlling a card. You know those laymen, those muggles with a little bit of magical knowledge, and they know maybe about a double lift, but they call it a double flip, and they know a little bit about, you know, maybe shuffling and keeping control of a card or whatever. This throws them completely off the grid. It's like, hang on a minute, you've just got me to name a card. It doesn't get fairer than that. And it's not like you then spread through the faces and look at the faces of the cards. You immediately go into a situation where you go, okay, you want that one, that's not a problem. Watch, boom, one card turns red. It's their card that they freely named. I mean, it doesn't get much stronger than that, right? So, yeah, I mean, the use of using a Mem Deck in the context of a Chicago opener routine is great. Also, it's very easy to do. If you can do the Chicago opener and you understand a Mem Deck and you know a Mem Deck, then you can do this as well. There's no extra sleights or moves or anything like that. Actually, there is one. It's not that difficult. It keeps the deck in stack, which again, I've mentioned this before. I'm going to mention it again. It's very important that the opening, that any routine keeps the deck in stack. Even though it feels like the cards are being mixed up and shuffled or not, the deck is kept in stack the entire time. So yeah, and it also has flown under everyone's radar. Like I say, I know people who use Recall. I know people who use the Recall stack. And I know people who have watched the entire Recall project. And I don't think I've ever met anyone else using this routine. It's a crying shame because it's such a really good routine. I'm willing to bet, because of how Tom's career has gone, because Tom now kind of doesn't really do magic and instead is a performing nerd, I have a feeling that he probably doesn't do this routine either. In fact, I'd be willing to bet he's completely forgotten about it. In fact, I'm willing to bet I'm the only magician in the world that does this routine right now, and I'm very happy about that. But hopefully, I've exposed it to a few more people on this video. Now, if you want to see more about Tom Crosby, then the simple way of doing this is by jumping on the Talk Magic playlist and going and looking for Tom Crosby. He did an interview with me many months ago, and it is an incredible interview. He talks a lot about characterization, so you go and check that out. It's a great interview. Let's have a look at the third trick with the Mem Deck that you've probably never seen before. So the final trick with the Mem Deck that you've never seen before, the final one, the last one, is one that I do. It's one of my routines, and it's a few people have done this concept with the Mem Deck before. I'm not saying this concept is original to me. It's not. However, my handling and the way I actually get into the position is I've been doing this for quite a long time. Don't know how long, but quite a long time. And it's basically the invisible deck, but without using an invisible deck. Now, there's nothing wrong with the invisible deck. I love the invisible deck. But anybody who's watched my Project Visible will know that I don't use the invisible deck like a normal invisible deck. I use it in a lot of other different ways. This takes the classic invisible deck, name a card, oh, it's the only one turned over in the deck, and it basically makes It's done with a Mem Deck, right? So it's done with a Mem Deck. Now, like I say, not the first person to do this. The first person I ever saw do this, completely different method, was Mike Close. Was Mike Close in Workers Number 5. So in Workers Number 5, Mike Close put his handling of the invisible deck using a Mem Deck, and it was very, very different, but it's also very, very good. And then there was another version. Oh, I can't remember his name. He's a very good magician. Brought a series of downloads out with Vanishing Ink. I'll put his name at the bottom of the screen. He brought out something with Vanishing Ink, and it's a download, basically showing you how to do something like this. This is very, very different in terms of methodology, because what I like about this is I've streamlined it down to one move that is completely done on the offbeat, and you get a double kicker. You get actually 2 cards, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. Let me perform it for you first of all, so you've got a frame of reference, and I'll talk about the routine. I'm here with Luke. How you doing, Luke?
I'm good, man.
Good stuff. We've got a pack of playing cards here.
Yeah.
I will tell you there's 1 card turned over in that deck. I'll get back to that in a little bit.
Okay.
But there's 52 cards altogether. Now, I'm a magician, and because I'm a magician, I have a favourite playing card. I have a lucky playing card. My favourite or my lucky card is the 4 of clubs.
Okay.
Now, when I snap my fingers, I don't know if you've got a favourite card or not. If you haven't, you can make one up on the spot. That's fine. But when I snap my fingers, I want you to name a favourite playing card as well. Okay. Anyone that you want to. If you could name that card now.
The Ace of Spades.
Now, it's really important. Do you want to change your mind, or are you happy with the...
I'm good.
Because I don't want you saying later on I made you pick the Ace of Spades. You sure you... Because here's what's really weird. Do you remember I said I turned 1 card over in this deck?
Yeah.
I'll tell you exactly where I turned it over. I turned it over nearer the face of the deck. I even remember the card I turned it over next to. I turned it over next to the 2 of Hearts.
Right.
So next to the 2 of Hearts, I turned 1 card over, very close to the face of the deck. And you could have picked any card. I even told you could change your mind.
Yeah.
If I go through, you'll see, yeah, there's the 2 of Hearts, yeah? And you can see there's 1 card turned over.
Right.
Now, you named the Ace of Spades, right? And that was a free choice?
Yeah.
And there's 1 card turned over. You're not going to believe this. Because this is such a weird coincidence. Turn it over, have a look.
How have you done that?
Isn't that weird? I told you that's weird. Well, I'll tell you how it works if you want to. A lot of people think it's about me predicting the future. It's not about me predicting the future. I can do magic. I'm a magician. So I can turn over any card at any point in the deck, anywhere that I want to. So, for example, my favourite card is the 4 of clubs. So because my favourite card is the 4 of clubs, I'll try and turn my favourite card over as well. Okay. I'll even turn it over in exactly the same position where your Ace of Spades was. Next to the 2 of Hearts, a few cards down from the top of the deck, or the face of the deck. If I do this, check it out. Look at that. There's, next to the 2 of Hearts, 1 card face down. And that would be the 4 of clubs.
Doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense whatsoever, does it? Don't understand it. Just don't get it. If you work it out, let me know.
Okay, so first of all, what I really like about this is, and I didn't think I would like about it first. What I'm going to be talking about here is the fact that a second card turns over. So you very nonchalantly say, hey, everyone's got a favourite card. My favourite card's the 4 of clubs. Do you have a favourite card? You do. What is it? All right, okay. Very interesting, because I turned 1 card over in the deck. Boom. When I had the idea for that original premise, right, I was left in a very, very dirty position with half the deck flipped over. And I realised I could fix that, but it would cause another card to turn over in the deck. In the exact same position. Then I realised that I could control what that card was. So I thought, well, how about have a second phase where I say, hey, I'm not actually a mentalist. I didn't predict this. It's actually magic. I can make any card turn over in the pack. Do you remember my favourite card? 4 of clubs, watch, boom. And now the 4 of clubs has turned over. And in the action of doing that second phase, I clean up the deck, and the deck is back in stack. And originally when I had that idea, I thought, well, this probably isn't going to be the best second phase. It might take away from the first phase, but it's going to clean up the deck, so I'll give it a go. And I went out and I started working this, and the second phase gets an even stronger reaction than the first phase. And I think the reason is they just saw 1 card face down next to the 2 of Hearts, and it's their card. They've just seen that. Then a second later, you've got another card that's turned over right next to the 2 of Hearts, and you've seemingly done no moves, and you've got this second card turned over right there next to the 2 of Hearts. And I think that's the reason it's kind of like a bit of a shock and awe. Now, does it presentationally take away from, I have managed to predict your card? Maybe. But my character that's fine, because I point out to people, hey, I'm a magician. I don't do mind reading. I do magic, and I cheat for a living. That's what I do. So my character would absolutely show an incredible prediction in the deck, and then go, well, let me tell you how this works. I'm just turning it over when you're not looking. Watch, boom. And now it's gone from a prediction trick to a, oh my God, how does this guy do this? This is ridiculous. And I'm fine with that. Now, you might not be fine with that, and that's cool, but I'm fine with that. That fits my character. That fits my style. I love it. And I love this second kicker ending phase. That's one of my favorite things about this particular routine. I also like that it's very easy to do. The move that I'm using, and I'm using that move twice, is done completely on the offbeat. Like, completely on the offbeat. It's done at the exact time that no one's looking at the deck, which is what misdirection and using the offbeat should be all about. I could literally it's a cliche, isn't it? But I could literally palm an elephant at the point that I'm having to do that move twice. Both times I could palm an elephant. So I'm really happy with the construction of the routine. Like I say, I'm really happy with the second phase. It fits me perfectly down to a T. I also really like that it's so direct. You know, you basically say to them, name a card. Oh yeah, turn that card over. It's right next to the two of hearts. You spread through to see the two of hearts, to see the face down card. You take that card out. It's their card. And I was a little bit worried when I put this together, because obviously I can't show the card under the face down card. And I was thinking, does that look a little bit suspicious that I'm pushing that card forward using a crisp alignment move and then putting it in their hand? Wouldn't it be cleaner if I could spread through and show that it's the only card face down? And I always do this when I create magic. I go and workshop it in the real world, and I go and check, because I can guess as much as I want to, but until I actually go and perform it in the real world, you know, it's a different thing. So when I performed it, there's no issue at all. The saying it's right next to the two of hearts really adds an extra dimension, because even if there was more than one card turned over, hang on, this card's next to the two of hearts. He told us that there was one card turned over next to the two of hearts. This is the card that's turned over next to the two of hearts. Oh my gosh. And then it really strengthens the second phase when you say, well, I'm going to do the same thing with my favorite card right next to the two of hearts. And because you then spread out the deck and you can show that it's the only card turned face down, it sells the first phase. It kind of says, well, he just spread the deck out at this point. He probably could have spread the deck out in the first phase as well. And I've had people that think back to this routine and they talk to me about it at the end of the night or whatever, and they go, oh, I love that trick with the card turned over in the deck. You did it twice. We both thought of a card and it turned over. Well, no, we didn't actually. I didn't do that at all. But if you want to believe that, then that's fine with me. It makes a really great opening routine. It really does. In fact, and I've only just recently realized this. You can do this routine and it keeps the deck in stack, obviously, which is a very important consideration to me. It keeps the deck in stack. You can do this routine. It keeps the deck in stack. But the other cool thing about this routine, which is really cool, is not only does it keep the deck in stack, but it also, if you like Tom Crosby's routine with the one odd backed card in the deck, you can actually have that set up in this deck, and you won't expose the odd backed card. So you can do this routine, have the card turn over, have the other card turn over, and immediately, with no adjustment of the deck at all, you can go straight into the previous routine that I showed you as well, and then go into that Chicago opener style thing with a memorized deck. So, I mean, talk about a great set at the beginning of your Mem Deck magic. You go and do that, which is very direct as kind of an invisible deck type routine. Then you go into that Chicago opener style routine. You've got a lot of visual magic happening very early on, which you don't normally see with Mem Deck magic. No table required, that's the other thing. You're not putting anything down on the table at any point. You're handing someone a card, it's happening in their hand, but there's no table required. Keeps the deck in stack, fairly easy to do. You're just having to do 2 half passes. And yeah, if you want to then set up to go to the next table and set this up, you can set this up in 1 second. You can literally set this up in 1 second. So there's no, there's nothing not to like about this routine, in my opinion. As I say, the only thing I had one magician say to me once, "I don't like that you do the second phase and you kind of almost trivialize the first phase." And as I say, that's cool, that's fine. That's down to characterization. I don't mind doing that because I'm aware of what my character is, what my character would do. But if you're a hardcore mentalist and you want that card turned over in the deck and you just want that card turned over in the deck, there are lots of other options out there, including Mike Close's routine, which would probably fit the bill. So there you go, guys. That is another 3 best tricks you've never seen before with a Mem Deck presented to you guys. This is number 3. I could go on for about another 3 or 4 of these. So please let me know if you want to see more of these in the future. And if you want me to do a 3 best trick series on something else, again, let me know in the future. You want to see more videos like this in general, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I love your comments. It really means the world to me. And I'm going to be back again tomorrow at... where am I tomorrow? Tomorrow at 6, right, 2 o'clock we've got shorts, 6 o'clock we've got a live, 9 o'clock we've got a review show revisited. So there's a lot coming up here on Magic TV. Once again, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again soon. My name's Craig from Magic TV.